Hello. Uh, Excuse me. Here we go. See, one more second. I gotta throw one thing on. Hello. So, hello, dear Wethersfield parents and residents. Wethersfield police have been switching and forging names and preventing me paper response in paper since I was a kid. Per their roles with the former director of the FBI, Robert Loskin. Per their roles with the Connecticut State Police and interstate, with the same house involved with predicate acts with them, and other houses, the same thing, relatively, and their ties to each other. And they're pretending that's personal. That's why you need to solve things on paper, because we have people involved with untimely deaths, even if that was made up of Robert Rodriguez. The intelligence community has roles with locations associated with him, like all along Route 3, conjunctions to it, and conjunctions to that. And on and off parks, we're involved with people with the World Trade Center, with investigators that have been used remotely since founding too, private also. And the locations next to them, as the Ninth Circuit Court involved with a whole bunch of people in private and civil cases on both sides of cases, and with lawyers on both sides, and with the witness and with victims and victims advocates all attached to fake audio and video and roles with predicate acts against others like myself. And they're attaching everyone since I was a kid. They've been attaching kids to fake conversations with everyone around them, including their family, including further uses of juxtaposed distinct natures of organized crime, that uses of it by the interbranch and by the overt criminal enterprises in private at the same time are also recorded, including uses of the witness protection program and a whole bunch of people involved with them with the names at corners of streets on Griswold Street, a whole bunch of people tied to it, and along Route 3, a whole bunch of people tied to neighbors of Violet family. I don't know if they had a sister. There was Andrea Violet. She was in my presence. Maybe they took a picture, but I never had a conversation with her. They asked it, like, at the corner of Elm Street in Rocky Hill in Route 3. Oliveri family, a Colillo family, and others years before the Mazzucatos were there. The Mazzucatos are involved with the police chief Cintron's family. And they've been involved. The only time I saw a Mazzucato on our campus was one time along Route 175. And it was an exception while I was on campus. I wasn't even having classes there. It was through sports. And I wasn't even on the sport. I was begged to go on the sports team. And or it was also part of the confessions that were drawn out to me. Because, John Mino would made confessions about his roles with men and women and kids on my street and in my area that used to hang around with him before they graduated. And then after he graduated, he made confessions about this to me. And I didn't know. Then they had tried to pretend we were a social group together. I used to never hang around with Ray Cologne and Joe DeMore and John DeMore. And John Myon. And Joe DeMore and Ray Cologne, I hardly ever saw them together. I only know them in context where they were involved with confessions and demonstrations of roles with wire crime, mail crimes, federal evidences crimes, identity theft, fraud, slanders, delusions, and being creepy weirdos, you know, and pretend the other roles with West Hartford. They have something to do with West Hartford. There are proofs they took a picture of me with them in West Hartford to pretend I knew them, make one of the fake exceptions to pull it away from how they have wire crimes and other natures of child abusers. There are people on the child abuser registry and that John DeMoro, Joe DeMoro recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed roles with wire crimes and drugs crimes and medicines crimes with doctors, with little middle school girl kids, and attaching kids that never even saw them around. I never saw Joe DeMoro on campus except one time they made a fake exception with Eric Mendez. I also never saw around anywhere. And they had something to do with Mr. Potter's family. I never had a conversation with him personally. I liked it. It has something to do with families all along Route 175 and tied to the conjunction of Walker Hill and Ridge Road and 175. There was a girl, I don't even want to say her name, I want to, they will make fake, except no fake. If usually when boys and girls meet, it's gonna be natural. But they do tricks where they keep, people aren't gonna be able to describe the past honestly. And it's increasingly relied upon. Because they involved a Chuck Casper with a former Mayor Gold. Something to do with the mayors and other natures of politicians and their roles with the campuses, with the names involved with criminally foreign influence stacking of illusions and databases, and or tied to that, juxtaposed uses of confessions relative. They've left out how they had the overt criminal enterprises and private criminal enterprises and insidiousness and delusions of interbranch juxtaposed with the fact human nature problems manifest as other things also, therefore, at the campuses. They left out how the breaching method designed everyone to blame other things other than themselves. The real causes of negative nature progressions, acts, and natures in New York City. This built them in the suburbs, relying upon means from other locations, tactical nature. This built the suburbs designed to cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, while presenting more and more means to cause positive only for you to be self-valued roles with uses of criminal and seditious natures of positive treatments. Inclusion with the negatives. Oh, but it's the breaching method. We didn't cause it. We didn't make we don't want to be the slaves. We don't want to be the witch trial. It was a sick, distinctly slavery of everyone. Complete, non-distinct possessions to an extent of everyone that was maintained, blamed on other things other than ourselves, because even that is going to cause bad things. Only that which is better than perfect can heal everything because it makes more of itself through the perfect. So, Wethersfield parents, people on Dear Spider family, I don't mean to use your name. That, in other words, the name Clover was brought up by the Wethersfield police and by a Bob Chase. Bob Chase confessed that Phil Clover was one of the ones involved with the falsified police reports with the principal child abuser. Also, Ray Clover and Tim O'Brien confessed demonstrated recorded and confirmed they have roles of wire crimes with Wethersfield police and Hartford police families. I found out it's also with Newington police families and ones that used to live here years ago. And with a whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital have roles with drugs and medicines, crimes and wire crimes with houses on my street. And they brought your name up into it. And they confessed roles with a Delaferro family involved with it. And that was the boyfriend of one of the sisters there. And you guys have also Chris White with people on Fox Connecticut News and with these police forms like Eric Mendez, also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with them with identity thefts and frauds with the ones from other locations tied to the roles of the predicate acts on my street with the Wethersfield police and the phones and the mail. And at New Britain Superior Court and Hartford Court's locations and Connecticut District Court, they have people that were involved with federal crimes with evidences and child abuses on and off West Hartford campuses, on and off Central Connecticut State Campus, State University before the World Trade Center attack. Mike Pamdoff and his lawyer and the lawyers of the people that sued him. And those people, I reported some of the people who've been involved with wire and mail crimes and falsified police report, gang theft, fraud, slanders, fake sides of issues, where used remotely are all sides of criminal and civil cases, and of them pretending legitimately to be set up little locations to pretend to be judging people to see how they're going to react. They're hiding what came first. These are people with sequence shifts from inside the Ninth Circuit Court, proven after the World Trade Center attack. That's what had been shown to the panel of judges right before the World Trade Center attack. Legal papers that have been post-dated to appear as if they've been handed in late and from inside the court. In 2001, and I would already been asking with others to correct the impositions, to correct some things that were causing impositions, where they have a dean judge and his family from Central Connecticut State University. As one of the ones I ever had a conversation with him or his family. I never had words with them. They have people make confessions for them and they've not verbally confirmed. What in 2006 district court case, also defendant, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, non-verbally confirmed roles with predicate acts at the West Hartford locations, and with Thaddeus Grabowski right before that case at Fox Connecticut News. Whether he realizes that or not, that's what's reported. A whole bunch of people on Fox Connecticut News have roles with wire crimes with the intelligence community, retired and standing. They have people I never even had classes with in middle school and high school who were spreading life progressions with executive family classes, executive families, and with a mayor's family. But it was also with people associated with the mayor from years before that. And that's increasingly those families and people intimately and working tied to them, involved with federal evidence crimes, writing forensics, and their uses of corners of streets, criminally foreign influence, and their uses of confessions. Also, how ones that don't make sense. They say things and go before they've been speaking fake things in databases since they were kids. Some ways they were influenced to it, child abuse. Some ways it was self-value because of how they have even where they lived before they moved to there. And the same names have roles with them at the other places I lived. That had been roles planting sequence shifts and federal evidences crimes rules on my street. As people I never even had classes with that pretended others they went to the same campuses behind my back. And fake exceptions where they take pictures and things like that. And some not at all that are just fake. Like a Joshua Julian is one of the ones further involved with a Facebook page of a principal child sex offender. And a child abuser, because it was juxtaposed natures of organized crime and uses of that. But they have upskirt pictures further on Twitter with the names involved with that, including women judges and roles with the court, and including their roles with the FBI and other agencies and their family members. A whole bunch of people tied to Eric Jensen are also reported through time with state police locations, names. And with FBI, people associated with the FBI and various natures of federal criminals, including his co-defendants and their family members, and people that live near the corners of streets near them, and a park near them involved. And that's what Newington police forms with the roles with the predicate acts on my street and people with Hartford Hospital with drugs and medicines crimes that's with the doctors there that are supposed to be against that, with their patients and criminals on my street. Roles with some untimely deaths then years later at the same spot, even if that was made up, either one or both. They have roles with predicate acts, with facts, and the names timed on off Central Connecticut State University and Trinity College, even on Facebook it recorded. And that's the one switching names and sequences with the written court, the written Superior Court, Hartford Court, and the Connecticut District Court has roles with names at West Hartford locations, the written locations. And next to schools, on off schools, there are narratives regarding the relationship between the family members intimately, and then how there's a mixed with a relationship with the religious community at the West Hartford location near West Farms Mall. Whereas a bunch of people, there's a Richard Newby that Greg Cololo confirmed years ago is one of the ones with Joe DeMoro, involved also with Spada. I mean, Scalora. Scalora is one of the names on off the World Trade Center and the spots next to it, including the night before it, and with the names on off the courts, intercities and interstates, who've been with all sides, rolls with the sources, and it rolls as people tied to the ones in all sides of criminal and civil cases, and victims advocates at the same time, rolls of predicate acts with facts and wrongdoing with facts together. Criminally foreign influence and tactically delusions raw. Sequence shifts in time use of ground, location, and their narratives by what motions are about, for example, their own and other people's. Emotions are about the simultaneously, so we can see when the finite details are left out, when people, and they're simultaneous. See, already the reaching method had the interbranch, and every modern country speak into records what they can't afford to discern. Because what is actually recorded is tactical ulterior. They even have to change what is recorded and pretend because no one's checking. And those places where the people are put to prison and things like that, those places were already criminally foreign influence collusions with them. And with their worst patients and criminals. And with the worst uses of the overt criminal enterprises and the private ones. Not by accident, using the same political narratives, positive, negative treatments with the politicians, with the people pretending math means what it doesn't. People writing the laws. People, the sciences are abridged. The sciences are tactically delusions wrong. So please, someone respond for Anna Dillon / Annie Dillon and a Kevin Dillon, because Kevin Dillon's the one who brought her up. He non-verbally demonstrated right after the sale of my neighbor's house to them. They have rules since before they were there, with the other family there too. They forced in the new family rules with that. They shouldn't have hid that from them. What they've been using the locations for. They shouldn't have lied to me about to my neighbors to them and pretended that was their right to do that by the police. They have rules with the FBI, with the Wethersfield police, the state police through time. Wedding Forensics has rules with state police further too. As the ones, a whole bunch of ones. I don't care, they have military police forging and switching names too. As the ones who like Josh, and one of these ones, Joshua Julian is one of the ones on my street involved with predicate acts, reported, confessed, and demonstrated also on and off the Facebook page of the principal child abusers. Also with KKK, black themed, Confederate flag themed, religious themed predators. So make sure that you respond for the schools also. They hid the confessions that the principal child abuser made to me and other names. And they changed the medium of what was being communicated through fake emails with WTNH. These are names next to WFSBs through time. WFSB has been attaching little kids and their families to fake ties to doctors, foreign and domestic. Also with medical families. One's increasingly tied to ones near me that I don't even know the names of, tied to the same house /S since they were kids. Forbid writing the same way I was, and they were forced, tricked, worked, persuaded to coach the roles, fabricating things. All exception nature demonstration of the same thing too. Is even when it's not, there are foreign influences involved with you guys that are the same. So, I thought Dr. Ron, you brought up a Powell, who's in, there's an officer, there are people with the Wethersfield Police Department, I believe they might have that name too. Because they've been forging and switching names with a guy named McGee. They told me and others that they have that a part of their threats and worse. and they lie about their motives, their roles with sequence shifts, predicate acts with facts, wire crimes, mail crimes, even with child offenders. Since before they were caught, a police chief said Tron's family, ones with the name Mazzucato, and have roles with the principal child, the food abuser, also with the Leahy family, and a whole bunch of families at once pretending it means because they were saying things at once that we had conversations in the past. Then they had to fake conversations with me in databases because they were pretending that. So the news has also been doing this. The news have people, I don't know their name, that grew up near a Paul Kelly. And Paul Kelly, he was in my presence, he made all these confessions, and then I never saw him. I never had anything to do with him, I didn't respond. You know, they have connections between people that did that, and people I don't know at all, like a Joshua Julian, who's one of the ones involved with them on all sides of the campuses, with child abusers, medical families fabricating audio and videos, transcripts also as police forms, in foreign and domestic military. There's a Lombardo family also with a Walters family there. On all sides of the Wethersfield High School and the middle school is further involved with some writing forensics people involved with drugs and medicines crimes with their patients and criminals, including people with Sandy Hook campuses, further involved with child offenders. Ron Adams. There are people that reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed Robert Luskin was involved along Route 175 and along Celestine Highway, like at the Town Line Drive and Celestine Highway, at that corner with a whole bunch of names, like a Dominic Bay. Also involved with predicate acts on all the state judicial branch offices and the state correction offices, and all conjunctions to the state judicial offices like Route 3 and conjunctions to that. So, Ron Adams, why are you bringing up Robert Luskin's name now? You brought up the name Powell last time. And we're talking about child abusers, and you're playing games with facts. And God help you if you have a gavel too, because there are judges. There's a Judge Smith also reported involved. And there are various natures of politicians. A whole bunch of people increasingly tied to a former Mayor Gold and his family have religious crimes and things like that for demonstrating a little bit. Paul Zano, he used to say Jew, and they would say Jew, and then I would see them, not see them around just for a second when he was in front of me to make a fake exception. And I never partook with that educated language, but these are people mixed with ones I don't know at all, like a Joshua Julian. I caught further with a principal child abuser. Ron Adams. Also, they reported, confessed, demonstrated, recorded uses of words like lie or truth, criminally foreign influence. Like, in other words, it's obligated, mandated law. You guys weren't supposed to hide, weren't supposed to stay roles, hiding the subject. Connecticut Interbranch switched names with the principal child abuser. Wethersfield Police, they have roles with a whole bunch of people on off my street. We're tied to it, Kevin Dillon and Annie Dillon, and how she uses a different name, Annie Dillon too, and Thomas Dillon, and people that say they're their neighbors, involved with the witness protection program too, with the body through their roles with their family, with the body dumping spot, like a Feinza family. Also on off the state judicial branch offices. Reported facts demonstrated confirmed involvement with federal evidence of crimes through time with families next to the state judicial branch offices. Also as ones with the World Trade Center further involved with 2 Route Highway, where Brunson to Hang Dog Lane. Increasingly, people there have roles with all sides and had roles with all sides in criminal and civil cases, and with victims and victims advocates and people in the hallways of the courts and the news at the same time, furthering delusions that are relative. and, and relevant, and furthering criminally foreign influence, fact, human nature, quality aspects, natures, and methods of that. Wire crime methods. Wethersfield police have 3 police that switch the name with the name McGee while they fabricate police reports, attach little kids and their families to fake and change conversations, you know, at crime scenes. And then they do it and pretend we had conversations with them as little kids, etc. On off Central Square in Wethersfield, Connecticut. Ron Adams, you know I said on off Central Connecticut State University. Hartford Court's people and Emily Andor and Amy and her intimate ties. Per switch. He asked us not to tell her something. He told her lies, something to do with this. With their roles. Former director of the FBI in his defending capacities. When his deposition, a court asked if they could do that. Usually, if someone's going to depose a former director of the FBI, former standing chairperson on racketeering influence, the Corrupt Organization Act, it will be from inside prison. But this is a civil RICO act, and he has rules with his co-defendants who had rules for predicate acts against me too. This is separate from that, but it's connected. That's why it was. That's how the same names got connected. It's part of how the same names got connected when I was in the Ninth Circuit Court, right next to the World Trade Center tower attack, right before the attack. Then we came home and we saw the attack. We found out about the attack through the news media, but we had been there in that location. And these are names with WFSB and the intelligence community next to them, and Fox Connecticut News and the intelligence community next to them, and WTNH and the intelligence community next to them also. A whole bunch of people reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. There's a Fred Gruzet who lived next to Wethersfield High School, but he went to private schools, and people involved with him and with private schools and with interbranch families at public schools, putting fake things in databases and spreading lies, illusions through kids where they use the right to lie, but they don't have the right to lie. James Comey is also involved with recorded uses, remotely criminally foreign influenced and tactically delusions raw of Congress since founding. So Ron Adams, you brought up the name Powell and Wethersfield Police. You could just say sorry. Don't play games though. Let's get on paper. You know, Central Connecticut State University has a dean judge. That the Hartford Courts people and the Britain Courts people influence confessions. Eric Burge has also confessed with others through time about that, with their roles with the religious spots. See, that's exploited by foreign and domestic medical families, attaching people to fake ties, fake nature ties to the people, fake locations, lying about what came first. They've been using remotely the time treatments in cases. You guys have been real sick to the kids of Hartford with your uses of the names next to the campuses in Hartford, as the ones roll distinctly with Wethersfield campuses and Rocky Hill campuses and New Britain campuses, still further criminally foreign influence here, Newington campuses. Have you heard? In other words, no, let's focus on Hartford, Rocky Hill, and I meant to say Cromwell. Former director of the FBI has something to do. A whole bunch of people named tomorrow that had roles with criminal enterprises with middle school kids and attaching kids that never saw each other on the middle school to pretend other with passions and emotions and lie about their motivations for that and what came first. They've been recording for their roles with predicate acts with facts with various natures of federal criminals since before they got caught at the same grammar schools through time as the principal child abuser. There's also another principal and people that had a boyfriend named Kevin Harris, and he's got a mother. I don't know her name, but they have people in their family involved with a Leahy family with drugs and medicines crimes, also with the FBI and with various natures of courts. So Brian Silver and a Leahy family have roles with District Court of Connecticut, with the FBI, with the judicial branch, and the federal branch, through together with distinct groups, predicate acts, methods, but they also have them individually recorded. So I don't know what you guys keep confused. When I was in grammar school, before I was in third grade, people from Central Connecticut State University had affected people to make a confession to me. I'm referring it to a confession because they brought up the name to me. And I remember, they know how to make people remember things. And because then they do that, they do things like tell people right when someone's going to walk through they influence them somehow to make them say something. Because when kids aren't going to even communicate. In other words, you're in a class all day. You're not speaking with the people. If you're speaking with someone next to you, which, even that is not done back in the day. In other words, they like the group now. They like to say, "Oh, we want to be in the group," because they're not learning anything. We didn't need to learn in grammar school anything. Think about that. What were they teaching in grammar school? Oh, that's why the kids. That's why not why the kids' grades are bad. Because they left out how they have uses of juxtaposed distinct natures of organized crime, but also a non-distinct use of them as singular, how they have to hide uses of their identities, of their identities of titles and names, and their uses of other people's names, and where and how they've been blaming other things, others, or selves, for things like slavery, the real causes of negative value nature, progressions, acts, and natures, so incapable preemptively of defending that argument, of affording discernment how our founders left us to communicate about how they were enslaved and had to counter and restore the other founders. That's important to understand. So Ron Adams is involved with Wethersfield Police and also with the name DeMorrow. Reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed involved with them with state police in the past and with recent home break-ins at the location and with people associated with the Dillon family. Has a role, even if they made that up, and how they brought up it was about Asians. They have an Asian family, they said, that the Wethersfield police and state police have been saying had people that worked for them break into a house near me. There's a guy they said that was a partner of Kevin Dillon as a detective. He's one of the ones that abused kids when I was a kid and faked ties to me. Ray Cologne and Joe DeMore, the only time I ever saw them real fast were a moment on the Wethersfield Community Center. They recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, tied to their roles with West Hartford locations, with people with EMS, and with next to that body dumping spot of the serial killer. These are also people that serial killer himself, and people at Sandy Hook campuses and Whiting Forensics had federal crimes with these houses and names with them, tied to the ones in my area, from other areas. And Robert Rodriguez is also one of the ones involved with a Joshua Julian and other Wethersfield police involved with other home break-ins and thefts in my area through time, and the roles of wire crimes and mail crimes, falsified police reports, identity thefts, fraud, and with the news at the same time, and they prevent writing tied to those mail and wire crimes. Ron Adams writes, "Help me, Ron Adams." You try to make it look like someone wrote what you write, Ron Adams. These are people that pretend to make mistakes when they're with facts. When they use time of a whole bunch of people in the Britain Superior Court recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed involved with child sex offenders tied to people at locations that Ron has implied and demonstrated roles with. And I never told anyone I was a doctor. I'm not a doctor. They keep trying to telling everyone I'm a doctor. Dr. Wall, I believe this Ron Adams has hacked my account and is working with the Central Intelligence Agency and is in cahoots with Robert Lusk Robert Luskin is a former standing chairperson on racketeering influence and drug organization act people in Central Connecticut State University. It says Bobby Adams. Also, there are male and females with the name Bobby on all Central Connecticut State University who reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed had been influenced to roles played with investigations. Investigators used criminally foreign influence, sequence shifting, hiding what came first. And their boyfriends were reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. I mean, one of the Bobbies with the female has boyfriends that were reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Involved roles with UPS with predicate acts with the names of the Wethersfield police. I caught with the child offenders and a Bob Chase, and further with Whiting Forensics at the same houses through time. Why can't do that? Way worse. And it's nothing personal, too. They're bringing up everyone playing, they use the right to lie, but they don't have the right to lie. They've been trying to seek cover-ups now. Who are you, Bobby Adams? Why? So, Ron Adams, there was a principal being, proven principal of a child abuser. And there were other people forging and switching names of Wethersfield. There's a Wethersfield police also demonstrated, reported, confessed, confirmed. There are people with the name Schumack, Joshua Schumack and his mother, and people associated with their families in the past were involved with the criminally foreign influence uses of investigators, roles with identity thefts, fraud, slanders tied to that, roles with falsified police reports. People all along Route 175 with criminally foreign influence and tied to relevant roles with body dumping spots. So many of them, like serial killers. The witness protection program is also involved with them at, you know, the corners of streets. Bob Adams says, perhaps we can use the breaching method to remove this troll who has hacked my account because I know he's working with Robert Lust to endanger the kids. So Bobby Adams says there's someone named Robert Lust, who's endangering kids. And Ron Adams says, pay attention to this Bobby Adams character, Dr. Watt. I am the only one you need to listen to. All others will lie. So, also, no, it's against the law even for police to lie about the CIA and the FBI. But in other words, this is also leaking. There's also people with a big florist, people associated with a big florist. I don't know them, and Dominic Abate. He was influenced to roles with names on off the corner of South Steen Highway and Town Line Drive. Also with others like tied to Eric Jensen with state police and forensic locations with foreign and domestic medical families I caught with child offenders, sexual, medical, and legal at the same time. Before that was part of it was caught. But the whole thing is recorded other than people are allowing to discern. No one has learned. Also an officer Jerry Miller reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed more with the Kerr family. On all sides of my house have been planting evidences and criminally foreign influence uses of conversation with their kids and themselves, with child offenders, including medical ones and judges speaking fake things into records. A bunch of judges tied from different courts tied to the Cololo name with the Wethersfield police, with the other state police forms. And Wethersfield police, there are a CIA family also on Facebook recorded roles. And They have roles with Afghanistan leaderships and narratives by the difference of women. They have criminally foreign influence, uses of victims advocates, types of countering bodies. Sandy Hook Promise is also involved with Alex Jones and InfoWars, and with various natures of courts, with switching names, forging names, and worse, with their patients and criminals before they are caught, including more with the campuses with Sandy Hook, involved with more proven child offenders, leaders of kids then and now. Please answer my previous question, says Ron Adams, regarding your toothpaste. Doctor, it may insignificant, but the answer will save lives. Did, I used to have beautiful teeth, and they have, so we're going to address this. Because these are people involved with making falsified police reports, using uses of right before they put a huge bond. I couldn't pay it, so I had to stay in jail for 6 months. And while they did that, and since I haven't been responded to what is actually reported with the principal child defenders campus, they've also been hiding this from parents and making them self-value rules. Also, how they have the self-value, they have all kinds of, they force rules with predicate acts, with facts and evidence as crimes. I never had a conversation with her, the daughter of Mr. Murphy with Wethersfield campus. And these are people with the military, and I read that he was associated with Korea. These are people that said that the Kerr family demonstrated the Kerr family is also involved with other families associated with them, like and on Fairlane Drive. Further, with Wethersfield police wire crimes, enrolled with the military, criminally foreign influence, and with the fire departments, and with the state corrections offices, names next to it. Involved with wire crimes here, mail crimes, even election spots, they have criminally foreign influence. They have little fakes say, oh, well, they have the right to lie. Or they pretend we're one over. I'm not saying about forging names, switching names. Those people are predicate acts. They don't have the right to that. They've been using the court cases criminally foreign influence. That's why New York City has problems. Bunch of fakes people. Well, these are people attacked in New York from Wethersfield into Branch. Intercities, Connecticut through time. Control your mind. I have a little kind of, see this guy, how you guys have been fake since you were kids, pretending passions and emotions behind people's backs you don't even know. You made fake exceptions, pretending to know because you have to hide with him first. Take a picture, oh, you don't know what are we doing in this picture, because they use the time too fast, too slow at interbranch locations. The Britain Superior Court recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, as a guy walked up with it, one of the sheriff's guys that walked up when we have no pad there. He's involved with recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, also with sheriffs further involved with, they even have Saudi Arabia, they forced tricked her, persuaded to roles with them. They're whiting forensics over the phone. There's an O'Neill family that works with some of the West Hartford campuses and has their kids involved with the principal child abuser before he was caught with the police chief Centron. John Lionel said, reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed this Jessica Centron involved with him. And he's one of the ones, he brought up names, confessors, tied with other people involved with them, with sequence shifts, and with foreign countries, criminally foreign influence. That spell IHOP. Please show the ceiling on camera. They're watching our communications, Doctor. See, Ron Adams is involved with identity theft, fraud, slander. Now you get to say what you want online when someone's speaking about crimes and child abuse and switching names. That's why it's a federal crime to do such. That's why, even though the former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin, his lawyer Robert Cheverry, and various natures of federal criminals like Thaddeus Grabowski, a Dominic Labriata, and a John LeConte, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed also roles with identity theft, fraud, slander, with names stacking fake things on campuses I went. And with their roles of falsified police reports since before that was caught, and with other natures of organized crime bodies, and with the witness protection program involved. All sides in criminal and civil cases. They have neighbors next to Paul Kelly, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with they take a picture near me, someone, and then but I never responded to him. He does not know me. He's one of the ones that's one of the sources involved with people on off Trinity College with a former director, FBI, and Mark Violet, and the DeMoro family has a whole bunch of people rolls with the ILO family, also with the locations next to them. Has something to do with their roles with all along Route 3 in conjunctions to it, in conjunctions to that. And they have roles with the Peruta family and the police and the lawyer of the Wethersfield police, reportedly of a police chief Centron, his lawyer. They've been reading statutes that give the benefit of the doubt to the interbranch and the interbranch locations. They've been leaving out what comes first and what came first. They've been getting away with it also because of how they've been using predicate acts with facts tricks. That Debbie Gold did, and her family pretended to know me since I was a kid from behind my back, trying to make a fake exception until they do a trick to make it look other to hide about what came first. They know they don't know me, and they'll tell you when they ask you. Because these are the people that are forcing me to bring up other locations because we can't get anyone onto paper. There's people at Trinity College, I also don't know the name of. They recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed that at the corner of my hallway, they were influenced the time where I was going to be because of how they invest. People need to pretend people knew others that they didn't know at all. And what they did, because how they keep them primitive foreign influence. So they've been fabricating audio and video transcripts to hide what is recorded and confessed by a principal child abuser. There's a Thomas Dillon, there's a Kevin Dillon, there's an Anna Dillon / Annie Dillon, how she changes her name. Also, people that tied to Anthony Minacchio and his friend and Dan Bonapane. I never had a class with Anthony Minacchio. I don't think I had a class with Dan Bonapane. They tried to make fake that these are people involved through time with on and off Hangdog Lane and to highway conjunctions to with a former Mayor Gold and other mayors from other different parts of town, including on and off the state, next to the state, the education location, too. So Ron Adams is trying to make fun of me because he's involved with Wethersfield police and courts delaying time. And they affected confessions to their and demonstrations of their roles. These are names that abused the real name. I don't know her name, I don't want to talk about it online. If they're mad because they heard I talked about on Facebook, it's the same thing. We still can't get them on paper. That's why I had to talk about it on Facebook. They're coaching people. You know, there's a domain family, and there was a algebra teacher, a woman teacher I had. He said that she was Jewish. He repeated that and looked at me. And Anthony Agnew was in that class. Anthony Agnew was also on YouTube and Facebook recorded and involved with what forced the principal child abuser not told on. And since, and those passion crimes were all also people with the written courts, Hartford courts, and West Hartford courts, affecting people to predicate acts and facts at West Hartford locations before the World Trade Center attack. And they asked me for help to counter that. So, Ron Adams, how do you know this Lusky? You gave a different name. Who's this Wethersfield police you brought up last time? Why do you have to be a coward? Why don't you just get the people on trial? I couldn't believe that child abusers could get forced like this. They have women roles with these fakes with the background. That woman judge is going to whip the woman judge is going to whip you. They're going to whip you goodbye. No, they did wrong too. I have to get that settled too. You're going to have to say sorry to Judge Napolitano. Ron Adams. Judge Napolitano's Facebook page is also one of the ones involved with. See, then they pretend it's about transsexual things. They have a guy at the corner of Carriage Hill Drive and Fox Hill Drive involved with Ron Adams' sources with Wethersfield Police and involved with the news, fabricating evidences, and then lying about why people are bringing up their names and using other people's names. WFSB attached me to fake words with themselves, fake locations with themselves. They have stories with kids, along with them stories regarding a kid who they said got beat up on Route 3. They have roles with sick people on all three junctions of the state judicial branch with them. Judge Napolitano, Judging Freedom on YouTube channel. Ron Adams. Police don't have the right to lie to hide predicate acts and uses of criminally foreign influence uses of the Leo James experience. I beseech you, doctor, we must bring to justice the Ron Adams who is hurting the kids. For real, I am not a doctor again. They're probably trying to pretend, they're trying to look for some kind of a fake charge because they have uses also with the three people that share the name McGee. They only have one good name McGee. They said they confessed. Weird how they made confessions as threats in demonstrations. Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. They confessed how they have one person with the name McGee and how they were influenced to switch names by police chief Cintron, etc. They switched names also into branch locations. So these are people involved playing games here, lying about their motives for why they're not taking me serious. Because they have roles changing what little kids say, attaching them to fabricating audio and video transcripts. Also with medical families, foreign and domestic, also at the corner of South Dean Highway and Town Line Drive. And a whole bunch of people tied to Central Connecticut State University with these names. And they said they had to plant evidences in the past that they were supposed to act so others could record illusions and repeat me and others to fake ties to other people. They take a picture of us and pretend we know them. They can't be honest about one time we know them is there are conversations tied to and confessions with criminal enterprises, etc. And they were child abused when they were kids. Some of the men with the schools that were involved and are involved now with the religious spots. They even have the religions of the people with the British Superior Court involved. Different religions, other in the Hartford Court and the District Court at the locations that were being used criminally for. And now it's against the law to get in the way to obstruct justice. If someone's trying to get onto paper, people involved with violence and with various natures of abuses of kids, mixed natures of them too, including sexual, medical, and the difference between that and the legal ones, switching names. How you doing, Bob Morgan? So these people have roles with some child defenders with Wethersfield Police, they confessed, and with a Robert Luskin, former standing chairperson of the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, and his lawyer and co-defendants. Also people that had roles with their teachers when they were in grammar school, dining out classes with, were involved with this, and their principals. There's a Wethersfield pizza that has a Wethersfield pizza also has wire crimes of Wethersfield police. And then everyone making confessions to each other. I had fake conversation. I never had a conversation with Stephen Stockwell in my life. I never saw him around campus. Like the only time I had one class, I never partook in the bullying of him involved. He's involved with some of the families involved. The people involved with the bullying him are some of the people involved with the families, and they're little fake bullies because they could easily be beaten up by anyone, most people. The interbred starts fights with people that are little punks. And the ones that are not, you know, juicing or whatever, they're punks too. So, Lil James, more on these campuses. You know, it's not, why would you make things up about stuff on campuses? Or why would you make the facts and then leave out the details? So that's the problem here. A Dillon family recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed that they forced my new and past neighbors to ways they don't know also, to collusions with themselves. Before they moved in, during the process, and since. Also, when they were not there were people taking film of their house. That is relative to how the confessions were made tied to the Kevin Dillon after the sale of the house. And these are people with the name Kerr. And Officer Jerry Miller said Jerry Kerr. There are more than one Jerry Kerr, and there's a Joe DeMoro and others with Newington locations. People tied to a John Mayano involved with the intelligence community in Newington had conversations with them and pretended they had conversations with me. And they would pretend I knew John Mayano before I did. I only know him with a protracted confession tied to his roles with, he used to hang out with people that lived on my street before they went to college. And I stayed back, and there were also people involved with them, with that family members that worked with their campus, and then they put me in their grave to put fake signatures and ties to me and them. Because these are people when they were in middle school and grammar school attaching me to fake ties and natures or ties to themselves. And the difference between that mix. These are the people I caught doing that with roles with the principal child abuser. I couldn't believe that you cops would come online with the courts too, and prevent people from getting anyone on writing. And you guys are so overtly, you know, you know. So we have the excuses. Oh, that's not our job as the FBI. That's why you can't be doing your job. You guys got to get the heck down. FBI has rules of war crime action methods since they were founding. Since their conception, they've been tactically delusions raw. So these are people in New York City. The Kerr family said that they're also confirmed that as the co-defendants, as a defendant, a guy who said he was a partner of a Kevin Dillon to my speech class the second time I was a senior at Wethersfield High School. And the first speech class teacher, too, is also one of the ones involved with names that next to the state capitol with the intelligence community through time. They've been using that to plant evidences. It has something to do with their roles all along Route 3 with identity theft, fraud, slander, obstructions of justice. These are people involved with those punks who pretend to be against obstruction of justice. They're tactically delusions raw. That's why they're keeping Trump from defending the finite while he has to pretend to be about free speech. Otherwise, everyone hurts him for that. Same thing, distinctly from how they did this with Obama. Complete possession of the individual leaders of each modern nation. Our names being and having been used Tactically or terror from how nature uses us, showing manifest as individuals, group differences, and species body of volume. Leo, the Leo Jones experience has roles with undercover detectives for the Hartford Police Department, and says he is investigating this Ron Adams, who has multiple accounts of hurting the kids. Tim O'Brien and Andrew O'Brien and Ray Cololo had phone conversations where they used my name, and they have roles with overt criminal enterprises and private ones years ago, and they have roles with religious locations and conversations with their teachers, real made up for themselves or made up by themselves, and they have roles with the names they confessed to Rick Cianfaglione involved with them. And then Rick Cianfaglione, I never had anything to do with that. And then years later, he sought me out and he made confessions about this. He said it was tied to the Brendan Leahy and his father, Brendan Leahy. Apparently, that's his father. There are two people with the name Brendan Leahy, apparently, at Hartford Hospital, and they both pretended they had conversations with me. And there's a Lombardo family there too, as also rules with drugs and medicines crimes on my street with the medical community at Hartford Hospital, including the police forums. These are also foreign and domestic military. These are also people involved with, through time, other cities, New Britain hospitals, intelligence families also reported confessed demonstrated confirmed roles with this. And their families were teaching people on and off Central Connecticut State University. Ron Adams, now you bring it up again. You brought up the name Powell again. Captain Ed Powell works in Connecticut Police Department. You know him, Ron Adams. We got more people with the state police through time involved with the same houses further with the child offenders and with the trick punk gangs with facts on and off each side of their houses of the victims. Then they make them pretend they did something wrong. You guys are hiding what came first. You guys are hiding what came first. You have more kids and the leaders of the kids involved too. You have the more locked into fake conversations with me too. More people with the name Christine were brought up too by people associated with the Bob Chase further involved. Then and now that forced the principal child abuser. Forced it. Other stuff too, that besides proving. More obscure pictures on Twitter through the sale of that too. Through the sale of the home too, that the Dillon family shouldn't have hid that from the new neighbors. So Judge Napolitano, let's get through these little games. Get the courts on paper. Let's get through these little obstruction of justice rap mobs with the kids and get a response from the principal's confessions to me. And make sure they confess to the parents what they did, fabricating, changing, fake emails. We haven't even sent emails. It was the conversation over the phone. Now make sure they get on paper. I'll show you what they do with child offenders. Couldn't believe that men and women would go on and people's Facebook pages, people's social media, they don't even know, get involved with something as serious as child abuse. These are the ones involved in the World Trade Center further too, in the court next to it. Oh, we have a badge. Get down! You have no badge. Wait till I get you on paper, y'all. Judge Napolitano has created his own ice cream flavor. God bless him. Someone tell Ben and Jerry if they have the roles with this Robert Luskin or the Violet family is one of the ones that have people on my street and people further involved with the confession tied to the abuse of the kids. They have rules of wire crime acts and methods. where investigators pretend they were legitimately filming things after it was already recorded and communicated. It's relative. They have the Facebook page of the Wethersfield Police Department further involved then and now with the principal, with the Joshua Julian further involved with since before the recent home break-in reports and confessions. He has roles with threatening to break in and people names that recorded him involved with break-ins in the past, and with them with various natures of federal evidence as crimes of Wethersfield Police and former Director FBI Luskin family members and their friends, and with the Wethersfield interbranch family members and locations. They also recorded confessed demonstrated confirmed it's their roles with the spots next to the state corrections offices through time, all along the town line roads, with narratives and then the people that bring it up. In other words, whoa. So we need to get them on paper, Judge Napolitano. We need to get to this little, Run out. Who is this Powell? Officer, you know this Powell. You said before you implied it was a Wethersfield police. And you know the Luskin. You implied and demonstrated you're involved with Luskin with the obstruction of justice and child abuses roles. Also with his federal criminal co-defendants and their family members. Recorded involved with criminal corners of my school, pretended to know me with people also off campuses involved with this. People that were in my sixth grade middle school class, I was made to take a summer school class. They lied about what came before that. That was criminally foreign influence. Those are people involved with federal evidences crimes, drugs and medicine crimes with foreign and domestic medical families, time roles with overt criminal enterprises. And John DeMorrow and Joe DeMorrow recorded confessed demonstrated confirmed. They have roles with overt criminal enterprise, Los Salidos, and some Italian criminal enterprises, and with names next to this, the Hartford Hospital. And the Violet family has predicate acts that involve my name and their roles with the girl who was dragged to her death from there. And their roles from next to Hartford Hospital, from there to the corner of Jordan Lane and Ridge Road, and other spots along Ridge Road, other corners like the Paul Kellys, reported, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, with his neighbors involved with the news media and with the Violet family, with Yukon families, medical and lawyers, all sides of criminal and civil cases, and lawyers on all sides, people in the hallway of the courts involved with identity theft, fraud, federal evidence crimes, and roles with these gangs of Ron Adams, with strangers threatening and torturing and bringing in more names and people tied to themselves too, so even more names to stack roles of predicate acts with facts methods like pretending people say that everyone's evil, and they fit conversations and do that. And then what they have to, they put whole fake conversations in databases with people tied to these names here, and the ones they bring up. The corner of Walker Hill in and Ridge Road, in the corner of, Walker Hill and 175, has people that know my name, I don't know their name. There's something insidiousness with that corner, and tied to what Justin Kovinski is, and his roles with the foreign and domestic military, with predicate acts, with things that went to my campuses. I never saw him around a campus. One time, real fast, there was an instance, and that's the one time I saw his wife, who was from my campus and backgrounds with the former Mayor Gold. A whole bunch of people tied to Mayor Gold, Connecticut ski locations, and development projects through time, simultaneously involved with the intelligence community, foreign and domestic military, criminally foreign influence. Their uses of sensibilities by religious spots where you can't just go on Facebook and have the religious spot give you a name. The interbranch switches names. They have roles with these child offenders, and the differences between even Jewish and they have a Jewish community center roles with judges and prosecutors, sick with kids with the agencies, and the fire departments involved. They're doctors. They're sick. So people, former director of the FBI, Robert Lusky, is something that is someone that Ron Adams brought up. When in the course of obstructing justice and roles with various natures of federal and of intercities police departments, with the same house/session of wire crimes with child sex offenders since before they were proven, other natures of organized crimes with kids at the same time, because they have the locations with types of experts that make sure the wrong outcomes stay. They say collusion, criminally foreign influence into branch with the overt criminal enterprises and private ones and worse. Uses of that are remotely A through Z. They said they have Wethersfield parks, Millwoods Park. A whole bunch of people were influenced. The time where I was going to be in Iowa came before that, and pretend that I knew the people next to them. I don't even know their names. The people died. The people involved with the Ray Close, paper route. And why he asked me to take that is also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Having been involved with the predicate acts methods associated between the campuses. And there's a Ray Reynolds who was also rolls with this. As people, I went one, they made an fake instance of me knowing him. And then the next day, I believe it was a Monday, after with Ray Reynolds. And the house is next to that school, like a scheduled family. Is one of the other boyfriends of the spotted family that the Ray Claw brought up, and with the location, and locations involved. They have roles with a Wethersfield reservoir, and with on and off 2-hour highway and the conjunctions to it, and Hangdog Lane conjunctions to it. They have federal evidence of crimes, increasingly with names increasingly connected, but by and as roles timed with all sides in criminal and civil cases and the victims' advocates. And as people increasingly timed roles with creepy people on and off the state judicial branch offices, and with the red pickup truck, and people playing sports on the field. That's also roles with the interbranch. And the policing, they have the policing families of the schools, also rolls with people on off the town line locations with this. And the principal child abuser brought up the name Mike Levine. And the people involved with forcing Saudis to roles, they also brought up that corner, Mike Levine involved with demonstrating Mike Levine was involved with them, also with writing forensics through time, and the people involved with the witness protection program. The body dumping spot, Billy Grosso, can't lie about that. Enzo Fianza and his cousin and some females involved with the intelligence community and like the military too. And Navy, they have down Old Wethersfield, criminally foreign influence uses of my names, criminally foreign influence uses of their pretended motivations. When they hear this, they have rolled on off Elm Street locations in Rocky Hill with names on and off the, all along Route 3 and with the state judicial branch offices and with, a whole bunch of foreign families. And the difference of that, then they pretend they start that people we perceive that as prejudice. In other words, they have the same problem here and there because they're sick fakes together here and there. And they have the same methods of hiding it. See suits and ties, see counters. They put fake emails. I'm not going to write emails. We're gonna deal with the fake thing they put for too. They put fake mail too. They changed. They hit what I found from Wethersfield parents. Wethersfield parents, make sure I get a name because they've been attaching me and others to fake conversations with our family members since we were kids. That's part of the problem what I caught them doing with the principal child abuser. No, since before he was caught. And please, those with the news media, you guys are being influenced to repeat things And then the investigators ask about that, and it's all fake. So I don't know about it in pastry. All exception nature. I was only played to them. They have a John Mayano, a Mayano family. I never met the father. I never met the mother. She walked by me one time. John Miles said to me one time, they probably recorded it, he said, well, my mother really likes you. Because he's involved with sequence shifting, where they say things and record themselves criminally for influence after the fact. They record sequence shifts. John Miles is one of the ones involved, various people involved next to the state capitol. People involved with various girlfriends of his also, with federal evidence of crime with them. You know John Allen, Grimes, you know John Allen? SpongeBob live tomorrow night. God help the person who marries you. Ron Adams, why don't you man up and get these cops on paper and keep it on the subject? The name switching and forging. So these are names with these gangs here at Wethersfield parents. That's why I'm drawing a map to your houses. You guys, some of the parents, they took pictures of you with the news media. The news media has roles with the intelligence community at locations next to them, retired and standing. They've been used criminally for an influence. It's nothing personal. They're needing to pretend it's personal. They're being coached by other influences. They have the FBI, other agencies, and their family members, and various natures of federal criminals associated with them, with facts predicate acts before they are caught. But that's recorded additional to that. Even though it's not proven, it's recorded. Things that were proven are recorded, show it still. Even without that, it's recorded. So, people have been commenting in other posts too, tied to Anthony Yagman and state police. A whole bunch of people tied to Eric Jensen spread lies and rumors about me on all sides of my area 2 through time with the state police and names all along Route 3 and with the intelligence community criminally foreign influence and through time and roles with the recent predicate acts with facts and demonstrations of roles with connected home break-ins through time and uses of them, which is also evidence, and where and how they're preventing things from being reported. Wethersfield parents, Bob Chase also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. A whole bunch of people tied to it as Phil Cololo. He's one of the ones further involved with the wire crimes. And I never saw him on my street. And then right after that, when I got home, I saw him there. So it was confirmed a whole bunch of ways anyway. He's roles with the principal child abuser then and now. They have their kids involved because they need to high life progressions. They have also criminally foreign influence uses of the nature of lies and illusions and fake motivations for them and sequence shifts uses. So I don't even know his kids too. I don't even know him. And they try to make fake exceptions. One time with my principal, the only time I saw him was on the outside of the campus from a distance. He was recorded one of the ones involved with a Paul Zano. I never saw him with a Paul Zano on my campus, on the inside, at high school. I never saw him on other campuses either. So the Whiting Forensics has roles with federal crimes with campuses intercities through time, with the state police families, Wethersfield police families, Rocky Hill police families, the courts families, and the overt criminal enterprises and private ones and insidiousness of people A through Z at the same time are used remotely. Forgiveness is not to give up, but to realize everyone's screwed up and start dealing with fact, human nature properly. See, these are people that have roles with criminally foreign influence readings of statutes and of precedents and of the value of that. So they're trying to, they're using the Sedition Act apparently against President Trump when they should be using the Presidential Records Act. I mean, it's not even a it's not even a criminal thing, and they're using a psycho criminal precedent and statute. These are also cover-ups of the roles from Wethersfield with the World Trade Center names. There's again King and his mother, I believe it's his mother, and his father, and other family members are victims of it. God forbid. I mean, I'm sorry, I would do anything to change that. But I asked you guys nicely too, and I didn't even know you before that. All except with the T-ball team has a Rob League involved with it. No, that's what we're gonna have to be real critical about here. Because you guys are spreading rumors about me for the people involved. I'm not gonna bring that up. I want to name on paper the people on the state judicial branch, your neighbors with the finances involved with this, involved with the Demorals, and the people involved with this other edge, and other people with the Kurds, with them on our long Church Street Road in our Wethersfield. Involved in the house over here now with predicate acts and fire crimes with the Wethersfield police. They were involved with it through time. A whole bunch of Central people at Central Connecticut State University recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Same thing has been through time. Central Connecticut State University as an intelligence community has been putting fake things with tricks against other people at child's campuses and using that the next year, attaching, keeping people in life progressions for where and how they stay criminally foreign influence. That's one of the questions that could be answered for my class, my team, my students, YouTubers. So I'm in the class, they're extorting me, I can't get in the class because they planted evidences on every campus I went to. They're recorded knowing that too. They know I caught my pants off and my teacher begged me to take that class with the computer class with his son in it. Involved with from years before that. War crime rules with all sides and criminal and civil cases. The victims and victims advocates involved already and further. So in that corner, people all along Route 175, tied to corners of it. I don't know why you guys keep calling me doctor. It seems like the last dash, one of the cheap tactics of one of those sick doctors. There's sick judges. There's a judge, Killian, and a Judge Smith spoke fake things into record as people involved with predicate acts with facts with overt criminal enterprises with grammar and middle school kids, and and where they assign that fake care for their parents. In other words, the identities law have no integrity in many contexts, and nature demonstrates this. The correlation nature is honest, and they do. And where and how they do and don't at the same time, we have to treat that properly. So we have child offenders still being forced as the leaders of the kids because there are uses of distinct natures of organized crime at the same time and types of experts at locations that respond because they already need to hide from those locations, criminally foreign influence uses of those locations. Also, prosecutors are also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with Ron Adams, planting evidences with judges and prosecutors. Brian Silver is also one of the ones involved with the Leahy family fabricating audio and video with various natures of police departments and police forms and people associated with forensics locations. Also involved with drugs and medicines crimes on off campuses with them and on off my location. Their roles with untimely death. Fake conversations with me since I was a kid. So, Ron Adams, you should fear God with the Britain Superior Court and the Hartford courts and the Britain District Court people and the various natures of fellow criminals and criminal enterprises you guys brought in to this. And you should get on paper with the Wethersfield police and the people associated with this. What's Joshua Schumach's mother's name too, by the way? Eh, So, Judge Napolitano, I'm gonna go hard on you, your name, because you on your Facebook page, your stewardship of it. You know what? I have no problem. I asked you guys, if you ask you guys nicely, you never respond. I told you guys, the Wethersfield police have not been giving me writing. And they've been fabricating conversations with me and putting fake other in the databases and with the courts, Judge Napolitano. Get these people on paper to one name in sequence. And I want a response for why they didn't. I want a response from the principal child abuser's confessions and what they replaced that with. Have them fix the fake wild crimes and say sorry to the Wethersfield families and the ones that live next to the Paul Kelly because they brought them in the news involved with this. And the judges with their family members involved. Like in other words. So fix the fake news too. Fox News and MSNBC and WTNH distinctly they had different wire crime, like WTNH fabricated emails. WFSB attached me to fake location, fake conversations with them. They attach little kids to fake ties to doctors. No, to me as a doctor as a kid. I never had any ties to doctor as a kid. So make sure they get on paper fast. And response to the principal child abusers campus and the rest of the name is brought up. A whole bunch of people tied to a Mike Levine have something to do, you know, make sure they get on paper. You're going to see what they've been doing, wire crimes in Wethersfield police since they were kids. People who call up the police have roles with overt criminal enterprises. Real sick, fake punks. Watch. There's nothing against that.